order and begin by thanking Mayor Pro Tem for conducting our last two meetings in my absence, and did such a good job that a couple of our council members asked me not to come back, but I decided to for a short time anyway. Tonight we'll begin our meeting. I'd like to invite you to stand and join us in invocation led by Pastor Dave Parker, and immediately following I will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pastor Parker.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. I invite you to join me as you would feel led. Gracious Lord, we gather here tonight in council chambers, expressing our gratitude for the past, the history, the legacy, the ancestors, and the leaders who came and lived and led before us in this good and plentiful and beautiful land. And we also honor and remember the coastal Salish tribal peoples whose unceded land that we now live on and enjoy, just as they did for generations. May our work here tonight and in the weeks and years and generations to come build our Oak Harbor community and our broader Whidbey Island into a collective good that honors all peoples, dignifies the past, enfranchises the marginalized, and establishes justice, equity, and opportunity for all. Grant our city council wisdom, settled certainty, courage for important progress, power for social good, and a responsive and respectful citizenry who recognizes the sometimes complex and convoluted passageways to governing a diversely opinionated democratic people. So tonight, God, we cheer for our community, for its life, its health, its welfare, and its safety. Let this prayer, let all of our deliberations, decisions, conversations, and discussions become a welcomed and a celebrated part of our future unwritten history. I ask all these blessings in your holy name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Parker. Please join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So tonight's meeting is being streamed live on YouTube and Facebook and will be broadcast on cable channel 10 HD 1090 following the meeting. Attendees are participating in person and via teleconference. Guests that are included in staff presentations will be excused at the conclusion of the agenda item as appropriate. And so I'm not going to immediately lean on our city clerk. It sounds like we're trying to get Councilor Wiesner. Has he joined us yet?
He has been, but he's having a little communication difficulty, and we're working to rectify that. He's connecting the audio right now as we speak, according to my computer.
Okay, we won't do a roll call? Okay, great. Welcome, Councilor Wiesner. We won't do a roll call, because I know we have 6 others up here with me. So I'll start by asking for suggested changes, if any, to the agenda. And if we don't have any changes, the agenda is approved as presented. We have no actual recognitions or community presentations at this time. So I think we're now at citizen comment. Item number 3 on our agenda, citizen comment period. This is a time when citizens may comment on consent agenda items or subjects of interest not listed on the agenda at this time. Citizens will have the opportunity to comment on the remaining agenda items during the meeting as appropriate. Citizens can also visit our website prior to our meetings for methods to submit public comment or contact city clerk Julie Nestor by phone or email as noted here. I guess that's coming up pretty soon on our, to view how to contact Julie. Public comment sent anonymously will be shared with the mayor and council but will not be displayed. We received one comment from the public since our last regular meeting, sent to the city as a brief PowerPoint presentation by Sandra Crouch, who I understand is here with us to speak this evening. And so I'll call on Sandra at this time to come up and please address us by saying your name and.
Good evening. My name is
3
Sandra
minutes.
Crouch.
Mm-hmm.
My family has been residents of Oak Harbor for almost 43 years. Currently, I have a passion called pickleball. And I don't know if, were you going to get those slides up? Yeah. So currently, pickleball is the fastest growing sport in Washington State, and it was just recently made the official state sport of Washington. It originated in Bainbridge Island in 1965, and it's very, very popular. And part of it is because there's so many age groups that can do it. I played with 90-year-old people, I played with 300-pound people, and they're very, very good. Let's see. One of the things, I'm currently driving 70 miles to play pickleball because of the current conditions of the courts that are over at Rotary Park. So, and next slide, please. I just took these pictures a couple weeks ago. There's cracks, there's moss growing, the courts are uneven. I could see somebody getting hurt. There's no fence around it, so you take a lot of time chasing balls. I've lost balls out there. And so like I said, I go to Anacortes or I play at Skagit Valley College. They have a park in Anacortes where it was 2 tennis courts. They left one and they put 4 pickleball courts in. So that shows you how small the courts are. And there's probably, during a nice day, there's lots of people playing there, and all the courts are full and there's people waiting in line. So the Skagit Valley College has, they have an enrollment of 650 people that play over there. And I would guess maybe 40 could be from Oak Harbor. So there's a lot of people traveling. So my possible solution might be is to convert the summer court into 4 pickleball courts and leave one a tennis court for people to play. I drive by there all the time. I rarely see people playing tennis. It's fenced in. You can see the Sumner Park is to the right and Rotary Park is to the left. And so that's a possible solution. So thank you very much for your time and welcoming me.
Well, thank you for coming to our council meeting. I know it's not all that easy, but you did a wonderful job. Yeah, I love that sport too. I can't beat my 5-year-old granddaughter, but I'm having fun trying. Well, once in a while maybe. Anyway, it's a great sport and great for our staff to consider possible changes. So thank you again. Any other? Anybody signed up or anybody else like to speak at this time? Yes, Pastor Parker.
Yeah, Sandra, I love pickleball, and I play pickleball too. And when I first came here almost 7 years ago, the Whidbey Island Picklers formed. Now we're a 501c3 and playing at Whidbey Christian School inside on a contract. But anyway, I play mostly outside on these courts that you just saw, and grateful that we have those courts to play on. And I think that once the city converts them and redoes them in a more kind of a safe and a professional way, they'll be a great asset. They were always filled during the summer when I was playing, and we really greatly enjoyed that. So just a little encouragement. It's an amazing sport, and it's a good way. It's high aerobic and low impact, so it's a great thing. And anyone can play. You don't have to be an expert at it. One final thing, and I have a meeting, so I apologize for leaving, but I went to college in Bellingham, which means I walked in Boulevard Park all the time. If you've ever been down to Boulevard Park, it's an amazing place, and in a manner of speaking, it might have a little bit of the feel and flavor of Windjammer Park. The thing that is in Boulevard Park that's not in Windjammer, if we were dreaming, is a coffee shop. They have a Woods coffee shop in Boulevard Park. And there's people there no matter what the weather is. And it might be a win-win for the city and the community to have yet another destination that is a year-round destination. So as you all make plans about the future, I think a permanent coffee shop down at the park is an interesting idea. And so I just offer that for your reflection. So thank you very much.
Thank you again. Thank you. Anyone else here for public comment? Citizen comment? Okay. Thank you very much. We'll move on to section 4 on our agenda, which is our consent agenda. And I believe we have items number A, B, and C. Someone tells me that we may have Mr. Jones with us. Is Mr. Jones here? Okay, then we're not online either, okay. Anybody have any questions about the consent agenda? Seeing none, that will be approved as presented. And we'll go to item number 5, which is mayor's comments. Staff milestones. Central Services Supervisor Sandra Place recently completed her master's degree in public administration and did so with a perfect 4.0 GPA. Congratulations to Sandra, one of our very own, and that's really super. 4.0, what's that mean?
Pretty darn good.
Yeah, that is good, yeah. Way to go, Sandra. City staff receives Pavement Innovator Award. Construction Inspector Jack Smith and City Engineer Alec Warner recently received a Pavement Innovator Award from Pacific Geosource. The city used an innovative paving solution using a high tensile strength synthetic fiber that reinforces asphalt and results in greater durability and lower maintenance costs. And it's my understanding it lasts longer. So way to go, Alex and Jack and the entire staff. Way to go. Thank you. NAS Whidbey Island. The city joins our community in welcoming home 3 surveillance towed array sensor system crews from the Theater Undersea Surveillance Command Pacific. Now that's a mouthful. I don't know what those guys do, but I bet it's pretty important. They provide acoustic cueing. Well, now I'm going to learn. Acoustic cueing to operating and supporting forces and to conduct continuous maritime surveillance for homeland security. Welcome home, and thanks for what you do, everyone. Student news, Oak Harbor High School's Navy Junior ROTC team finished first in the Northwest Drill and Rifle Conference competition on February 24th. Congratulations. Boards and committees, the city has openings on our Salary Commission, Historic Preservation Board, Planning Commission, and Parks Board. Please check our website for more detail. Please come, we're a lot of fun to work with, most of the time. Upcoming community events are displayed now on the screen, and I'll turn to council for council comments. Councilor Hoffmeyer.
I was hoping that the Crouches and Pastor Parker would stick around so I could challenge them to a game of pickleball. I've never played pickleball. It's very clear that pickleball is very important to a lot in the community. I think our very own public information officer, I believe her father was the prime sponsor of the bill that went through the Senate and the House that made pickleball the state sport.
Yeah.
So
You might be right.
that's pretty daggone cool. If we go back, I think it was around a year ago when we signed the MOU with the school district with regards to Rotary Park. I was one of the dissenting votes on that, and the reason had nothing to do with pickleball. $50,000 is not going to solve the problem at Rotary Park. Then the question begins, do we invest that much money into something we don't own, something that's not on city property? I think, having a combination set up at Sumner Park, or if you look at some of the other city parks that are due to have some upgrades, maybe we should look at installing pickleball within our own system that we own. But I think being that MOU was passed, being that it went out to the public that, hey, this is what we're going to do, that was a year ago. People are starting to get frustrated, and we've recently had a change with our parks director. So I hope that now that with that new leadership, I hope that we can get this going in the right direction finally. And was very glad to see the Crouches show up today. They had showed up at a North Whidbey Pool Park and Recreation board meeting a week and a half ago, and I think that's it's hard for those in the community to even know which entity controls which park. So they're in the right place now, and I hope we can make this happen. And that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you, Councilor Hoffmeyer. Councilor Stuckey.
So mark it down, March 7th, 2023, 6:15 p.m. A council member is going to say, I was wrong. When the Sullivan annexation came up, I made the comment, being that my business is right next to Sullivan annexation, that I didn't believe that I got the notice. And I have a notice here. So, it got mailed to my house, which is the registered agent address for my business. I wish I could say it was my wife's fault, but she put it exactly where I normally get my mail. So I can't throw her under the bus either. So that was on me. I apologize. I did make the suggestion that in the future that perhaps notices could get sent to the registered agent and also the physical address, because sometimes there's long-term renters or the people are leasing. But yeah, my bad. It's right here.
Thank you, Councilor Stuckey. Anyone else? Yes, Mayor Pro Tem.
That was legendary, thank you. I've been wondering about the commitment that the city made to update the pickleball courts at, was it Rotary Park? I thought it was $70,000. That's what I wrote down. Was it 50? It was 50. Okay. But yeah, could we get an update on that? Because it has been a while and we haven't heard anything since. And I also want to reassure our pickleball loving citizens that they still very much are part of the plan for Windjammer Park. So it's just we haven't gotten to that phase yet, but we haven't forgotten about that or gone back on it. They're still very much part of the plan. At least they are in my eyes. We're going to be, we sent out a survey probably about a year ago, maybe a little less than a year ago, to reevaluate what the community's priorities were. But short of maybe shuffling some things around, I think that the vision is still pretty consistent with what it originally was. So I would appreciate an update on that $50,000 with the school district. Thank you.
It might not be until April, but I'll put that on the agenda.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Council, anyone else? Council, comments? Okay. Then we'll move on to item number 6A. Item number 6A, resolution number 23-02, 2023 Comprehensive Plan Docket. And I believe this evening we have with us Principal Planner Kak Kamak. Welcome, Kak.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, members of the City Council. Here to present the 2023 docket. This item was presented to the City Council at the February workshop, so I won't go over it again. It's the same presentation. However, I will share a slide to just highlight the items that are on the docket. And if you give me a moment. I hope you can see that. So that is the slide that shows all the items that are currently on the docket. We are working on a lot of items that are carryover from 2022. You remember the Housing Action Plan. We're doing a continued implementation of that. We're still in discussion with the county on the JPA and UGA boundaries. We're continuing to work on the transportation plan. The active transportation plan is in full session. We've hired a consultant. I'll be providing an update to the City Council at the March workshop on the work that's being done there. One of the new items that is being added to the docket is the alternate street connection plan. Our engineering department has some bright ideas on how some streets can be connected in creative ways to better the traffic flow and pattern. So we're going to try and put it into a plan and adopt it into the transportation element. The capital improvements plan, which is amended every year, we'll start to discuss some of those projects in a few months with the City Council. We're continuing to work on the land use element. As you remember, the Council approved consolidating the different zoning classifications, industrial, planned industrial park, and planned business park into one category. This will require rezoning of properties, mostly along the Goldie Road and Oak Harbor Road area. We'll notify the property owners and start that process this year. Another item that was added to the docket is the downtown marina. It's a scoping study. We want to talk to the city council and the planning commission and the public about some of the scope or some of the ideas on what we can do in that area. So we'll come to city council in the next few months and chat about that. Usually we have some sponsored amendments, but this year we don't have any. So that is the scope of the 2023 docket. And if city council has any questions, be happy to answer them. If not, we request that the council consider the docket and approve resolution to move us forward. That I'll turn it back to the city council.
Thank you, Kat. Before we actually turn to the council, I'd like to open that public hearing at this time and ask if there are any here that would like to speak to this, and give our public a chance. Doesn't look like it. They're not rushing to the microphone. So we have no public comment. So at this time, then I'll close the public hearing and turn to council. Any questions? Input? Yes, Councilor Munns.
Thank you, Mayor. No, I don't have a question since it's been gone over several times. I'm ready to make a motion unless someone else has a question.
Great.
Okay, I recommend to move to adopt resolution number 2302, approving the 2023 comprehensive plan amendment docket items as presented.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. That motion reads exactly like the recommended motion in our packet. That was made by Councilor Munns, seconded by Councilor Stuckey. Seeing no other questions or input, I'll ask all in favor to raise their right hand. All six of them here. Yes, we've got the one on screen, Councilor Wiesner. So that passes unanimously. And before I let you go, CAC, I haven't gotten a chance to congratulate you on that new baby. I hope you're having fun, Daddy.
Thank you very much. Other than some sleepless nights, everything is going well.
That's super
Thank you
duper.
for the witness.
Sure happy for you, thanks. Okay, let's go to item number 6B, ordinance number 1972, budget amendment number 1 to the 2023-2024 biennial budget. We'll turn to our finance director, Mr. David Goldman. Please.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. David Goldman, Finance Director. This is the first budget amendment for the 2023-24 biennial budget. And this budget amendment is related to the firefighter levy lid lift that was approved by the voters last November. So a little bit of background and history. The City Council adopted a resolution to submit a property tax levy lid lift ballot proposition to the voters in November of 2022. It passed overwhelmingly. It needed 50%. It got over 60% of the voters approving. And the use of those funds were for additional firefighters, vehicles and equipment, improvements for firefighter health and safety, and fire operating and capital costs. You might recall this slide from Ray Merrill's presentation at the last workshop. This is a future staffing plan that he developed, and the subject of tonight's budget amendment is the top row, the 2 firefighter EMTs in 2023. So again, this amendment is related to those 2 firefighter EMTs to be hired mid-year this year. It includes 7 months of funding in 2023, and also the startup costs such as equipment and gear, and a full year of funding next year, 2024. The total amount of the amendment for the biennial is just over $400,000, $406 and $100 to be exact. And here is the split on your screen between 2023 and 2024. So the recommended motion is on your screen. And with that, staff is available to field any questions you may have. But this is a public hearing, so we would need to open it to the public first.
sorry about that. Before we take it up here with council, I'll ask if anybody here is interested. Nope, got two out there and they're both saying no. So we'll bring it back to council. And how about council? Questions, motions? Yes, Councilor Hoffmeyer.
If there's no other questions, I'll make a motion. Okay. I move to adopt ordinance number 1972, budget amendment number 1, amending the 2023-2024 biennial budget and adopting an updated wage and salary schedule and plan of classification.
Second.
Got a motion and a tie for a second. Motion reads exactly like the motion or the recommended action motion, and that was made by Councilor Hoffmeyer. I'm going to give the second to Mayor Pro Tem Heisen, and it was a close tie. But anyway, with that, I'll ask all in favor to signify by raising the right hand, please. Okay. Can't see Councilor Wiesner, but that, okay, good. So that passes unanimously, and we will then go, did I close that public meeting? I guess I did, right? We opened it, then we closed it, right? Okay, we'll close that meeting. I don't think I'm going to get in trouble from this audience, but thank you. So far, so good anyway. Let's go to our last item on our agenda, which is under other items for consideration, and it's AARP Community Challenge Grant Application, and we have our Grant Administrator, Wendy Horn, tonight to present this. Welcome, Wendy.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Yep, I am here to present the AARP Community Challenge Grant application for your consideration. So the Community Challenge Grant is an AARP grant that funds opportunities for communities to make their communities more livable for people of all ages. They like to fund shovel-ready projects that make a difference in the community, especially for those age 50 or older, like some of us here. And this will be a partnership with the Oak Harbor Main Street Association. I think most of you are aware of the Serendipity Lane project that the Oak Harbor Main Street Association has been working on. They want to create an inviting and safe walking path to and from downtown, down to the waterfront, and the transit station and other amenities. So we are asking to apply for $20,000 from AARP. We will be seeking volunteers to help with the project. Oak Harbor Main Street will also be seeking in-kind donations. They are fundraising currently for the project, and they also are applying for other grants. And then you also are probably aware that you all approved $100,000 in ARPA funding for the Serendipity project as well. Our goal is to get the AARP grant and then have the project completed by November 2023. So, if you have any questions, happy to answer them. Otherwise, there's your motion.
Thank you, Wendy. Before we take that up, I want to make sure that we have no input from the public or anybody here that wants to speak to this. Okay? Okay, good. Then we'll bring it back to City Council for questions or motions or discussion. Yes, Councilor Muntz.
Thank you, Mayor. I loved it on the application. It is shovel ready to go, and that takes a lot of planning and getting a lot of people together. If there's no other further question, I'll make the motion, sir. Oh, go ahead.
Councilor March.
Thank you, Mayor. So, Wendy, is this project shovel ready? I mean, because it sounded like they need 200,000, they have 100, and then this would be 20, but there's still an $80,000 gap. I mean, so
Yes.
is this a shovel ready project?
Well, as far as the engineering and everything, it's shovel ready to go. All that has been done. It will be an engineering project. I'm looking at Blaine because.
Well, I think the Main Street's taken the lead, but their confirmation to us that it meets the requirements, so we're going to take their word for it in being ready. So I think we talked about a plan, whether they can have the resources, and they're committed to having the resources together to make this move forward. So it's a partnership with them. So we've kind of taken the lead, but it's a partnership with the Main Street. So the commitment we have from them is that they'll be shovel-ready.
And they are going to be seeking a lot of in-kind donations to offset the cost of that $200,000. They're pretty confident that they'll be able to do that.
It's a good question, isn't it? What's the definition of shovel-ready? Yeah. Anyway, sounds like they feel it is or meets, okay. Any other additional, Councilor Marshall, do you have any? Oh, okay.
I move to authorize the mayor to sign the ARP Community Challenge Grant application for up to $20,000 in partnership with Oak Harbor Main Street Association to complete the Serendipity Lane project.
Great. We have a motion and a second. That motion reads exactly like the recommended action in your packet. That motion was made by Councilor Marshall and seconded by Councilor Evans. Seeing no other questions or input, all in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Okay, that passes unanimously, none opposed. Thank you, Wendy. Nice job. So we are now at the point of any other reports or discussion. If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor, just signify by waving. Thanks for coming. Okay, we'll see you now.